A book breathes in the dark, pages whispering like blinds against a locked window. Its words behave like language, yet refuse meaning, curling back into themselves like smoke. I run a gloved finger along vellum, feeling centuries simmer beneath tightly inked constellations. What speaks when no alphabet agrees to listen? And why does silence answer so fluently? Radiocarbon lays a timeline. Early 15th century between 1404 and 1438. Young calves turned parchment. The script flows unbroken, a confident hand skating across pages like a practiced river. Herbal drawings show impossible plants, roots knitting riddles, leaves bladed like whispers shaping unanswered prayers. Astronomical wheels spin quietly, stars set in medieval geometry, promising direction without destination. Then the pools, green and uncanny, crowded by small women like notes inside a living flute. Tubes like plumbing of heaven connect baths, organs, constellations, as though biology were hydraulic music. Cosmological foldouts open like fortresses, walls scribbled with compass roses, passageways refusing any earthly map. Pharmaceutical pages parade jars, roots, stars, a dispensary for ailments unnamed, patients unrecorded, cures untested. Finally, recipes, paragraphs dotted with starbursts, as if the night itself footnoted every secret instruction. The question arrives late: who wrote it, and to whom did its murmurs belong? 1665, a letter travels, carried by worry. Johannes Marcus Marci writes to Athanasius Kircher. He encloses the book, repeats a rumor. Rudolf II bought it, believing Roger Bacon whispered inside. The emperor's gold weighed against a promise that never translated, a fortune paying for eloquent silence. Time unthreads its spool, pages change owners, margins gather fingerprints. The script remains composed, untrembling. 1912, Villa Mondragone, a Jesuit college near Rome. A dealer opens a trunk's quiet throat. He lifts the codex, dust modeling mourning, and history turns to face him, unblinking. Wilfrid Voynich carries the riddle across continents, searching buyers, scholars, any language willing to confess. The book takes his name yet refuses his ownership, loyal only to its indecipherable grammar. Yale's Beinecke library becomes sanctuary, gray stone surrounding vellum like winter around a stubborn evergreen. About 240 pages survive. Some missing leaves drift like rumors, untraceable, unreturned. Experts test ink and pigments, and the centuries nod. Material truth tightens around the mystery. Cryptographers swarm like winter crows, pecking patterns, measuring entropy, counting syllables that never spoke aloud. The statistics perform a familiar dance. Zipf's law steps in, frequency bowed like a gentleman. Words distribute as languages do, not a carnival of nonsense, but a city with traffic. Streets curve, neighborhoods repeat, yet individual houses stay stubborn, peculiar, locked from the inside. Some swear it's a cipher, a mask hiding a face, breath dampening the velvet. Others insist it's a voice unto itself, an unknown language born without a midwife. And somewhere, laughter. A hoax, perhaps, a prankster's cathedral built stone by polished stone. But hoaxes rarely breathe so evenly, their syntax tripping. Here, the pulse runs strangely steady. I pace the archive aisles, footsteps rehearsing an old argument between doubt and patience. The letters lean like reeds, bending with predictable sway, then snapping back into bewildering alignment. In margins, occasional stars, flowers and gallows glyphs, faint scaffolding for an unbuilt translation. I tally lines. The scribe favors repetition, yet arranges it like rain, never exactly repeating. Paragraphs begin with familiar signs, then wander into courtyards where meaning refuses to unmask. The herbal section tempts naming: mandrake, valerian, foxglove, yet drawings insist on never having existed. Roots twist like organs, as though language sprouted anatomy, and healers harvested consonants by moonlight. Astral charts wheel overhead, medieval suns bearing faces, calendars shrugging centuries, seasons refusing to settle. The baths return, green channels looping torsos, like a city's plumbing under starlight and rumor. Scholars call it balneological, bodies in curative waters. I hear a phonetic rehearsal underwater. Cosmological diagrams resemble fortresses. Secrets circle bastions, refusing surrender, staging an endless siege. The pharmaceutical cabinets line up bottles as if remedies could condense sentences into tinctures. And the recipes conclude, starry bullets winking, maybe asterisks, maybe constellations endorsing instructions. I replay the letter to Kircher, a plea folded into Latin, nerves trembling behind courtesy. Marcy warns of mystery, hopes Jesuit industry can unlock a stubborn imperial purchase's value. Meanwhile, centuries accrete, libraries move, wars gnash, the vellum persists, unburned, unbent, unbrokenly obscure. In lab light, spectroscopy blesses pigments, medieval recipes glowing like cooled embers, honest as ash. If it is a trick, time collaborated, sweating authenticity across every stroke and margin. Codebreakers bring arsenals, frequency counts, Markov chains, substitution hunts, yet vowels refuse to surrender. Words cluster by context, pages show topical cohesion. The invisible subject clears its throat politely. What if meaning lives in diagrams, not glyphs? The text merely choreography for illustrated speech. Or the opposite, pictures as decoys, the true message whispering behind letter forms like masked confessions. I stake out the margins, listening for corrections, smudges, slip-ups. The scribe never stammers. Lines break predictably, as though breath marks guided a tongue. Performance without an audience, rehearsal perpetual. I circle suspects, a single author, a school, an order, an exile, a dreamer. Motive hides hardest. Medicine, astrology, alchemy, encoded heresy, or merely the art of bafflement. Midway through, the book stares back, asking whether mysteries need solving, or only witnessing. If a text behaves like language yet refuses translation, do we owe it new definitions? I consult linguists. They nod at Zipfian curves, scratch doubts about hoaxes balanced on such order. Historians trace the emperor's rumor, placing the codex in Rudolf's cabinet of curiosities. Alchemists once promised transmutation. This book promises transformation of ignorance into elegance without surrendering answers. The Jesuits catalogued, moved, and kept. Their drawers held the quiet like monks hold breath. Voynich writes letters, solicits expertise, wears the riddle down with polite persistence and sleepless arithmetic. All the while, the scribe's ghost sits inside, ink still drying in perpetual present. I imagine the workshop. Lamp smoke, pigment stirred, vellum stretched, a hand copying from nowhere. Outside, bells toll centuries. Inside, a grammar blossoms, petal by petal, refusing baptismal name. A constructed language, perhaps, engineered like a clock, gears meshing, timekeeping without telling what time. Or ciphered plain speech, letters disguised, vowel choked, consonants masked, a message sweating under costume. Yet the statistics smile politely, hoaxes stumble, this walks, gibberish hiccups, this inhales steadily. I compare folios, search for crib text, a repeated wheel, a diagram indexing sentences to stars. The closest clue is consistency, the most dangerous ally. It proves authenticity, not intent. Missing pages taunt. Perhaps they carried the key, or only deepened the corridor without exit. I chase marginal stars like breadcrumbs, only to find they mark everything and lead nowhere. Even the bath's green water seems alphabetic, a canal script threading bodies like sentences. Perhaps the text is ritual, sounded once, a chant whose parish has dissolved into history, or medical privacy draped in code, protecting recipes from rivals, secrets floating like dried petals. A cosmology mapped for an inner pilgrimage, stars guiding inward, not across any night sky. I pause at a fold-out fortress, consider siege works. Perhaps the mind besieged itself artfully. Voynich's own life shadows the text. Exile, ambition, a dealer selling clarity to patrons. Yale guards the silence now. Scholars visit like pilgrims, palms hovering above glass. The book looks back as calm as winter water, reflecting faces without revealing depth. I catalog everything. Vellum date, Jesuit custody, imperial rumor, statistical bones, pigments' honest testimony. Still, the paradox persists, a lock that matches every key blank except the final tooth. If this is a hoax, why does it soothe like scripture? If scripture, where's the congregation? If language, who speaks? If code, who hides? If art, why the stubborn discipline? I close the cover gently. The library returns to its breathing. The riddle sleeps. When it wakes, will we finally understand, or only learn to ask better questions? Outside, snow chews the city to whispers. Inside, the codex hoards summer leaves and impossible constellations behind museum glass. I picture Rudolf counting coins by candlefire, purchasing a voice no courtier deciphered, an empire investing in articulate silence. I imagine Kircher weighing prayers and patterns, debating whether God permits alphabets without parishioners, sermons preached to unreadable stars. I see Voynich stepping into Roman's sun, clutching an orphaned universe, already translating its hush into telegrams, catalogs, negotiations. Today, students lean into the glass, phones lifted, hoping to trap a language allergic to cameras, reflections, and certainty. The pages keep their pulse, a careful metronome reminding us understanding is stewardship, not possession, a winter garden tenderly maintained. Perhaps the secret is modesty, a book teaching humility by never bowing to certainty's appetite, disciplining every hopeful translation. Or perhaps it waits for an unheard question, the exact contour of doubt history forgot to pronounce aloud. If the manuscript understands us better than we understand it, what story have we been speaking to ourselves?